Hey everyone, and welcome. For the longest time, whenever we talked about nutrition, it was always about what we eat. But what if that's only half the story? Today, we're going to dig into intermittent fasting, which is all about a really simple but powerful idea, rethinking when we eat.
Okay, let's get right into it. Most of us, right, we grew up with this idea that there's a right way to eat. It's so baked into our culture that we just don't even question it. But maybe we should.
I mean, think about it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you gotta have snacks in between, right, to keep your energy levels up. But this idea of constantly eating is actually kinda new. If you look back to the 1970s, people ate about 3 times a day. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and that number jumped to almost 6. So, what happened? And this really shows the two different mindsets. The way we eat now, the conventional way, means our body is basically in a constant fed state. It's always busy digesting. Intermittent fasting, on the other hand, introduces a rhythm, a cycle, between eating and just resting. And let's be clear, this isn't about starving yourself. It's about intentionally giving your body a break.
So, what's actually happening inside your body during that break? Well, it's way more than just cutting calories. Something pretty incredible is going on at a cellular level. Let's talk about the science that makes fasting so much more than just skipping breakfast.
The whole thing really hinges on this one key idea. It's called metabolic switching. See, when you eat, especially carbs, your body runs on glucose, which is just a fancy word for sugar. It's quick, it's easy fuel. But after about 8 to 12 hours of not eating, your body does something amazing. It flips a switch. It starts to burn your stored body fat for energy, turning it into a different kind of fuel called ketones. And that is the magic of fasting.
Here's a really simple way to picture it. Imagine your body has 2 fuel tanks. The first one is a small tank, right? It's filled with sugar from the food you just ate. It's easy to get to, and we use it all day long. But then there's this second, massive reserve tank, and it's filled with your stored body fat. The thing is, for most of us, that big tank stays locked up tight.
And yep, fasting is the key. When you give your body that break from food, a hormone called insulin goes down. Insulin is basically the gatekeeper to your fat stores. So when insulin levels drop, your body can finally open the gate and tap into that huge reserve of energy. You're not running on empty, you're just switching fuel sources to one you've had all along.
And that right there is why so many people are getting excited about this. Because when you unlock that fat-burning state, it's not just about losing weight. The research is showing it can set off this whole cascade of really positive health benefits. So yeah, weight management is a big one, of course, but it goes so much deeper. Studies are pointing to some really powerful improvements for metabolic health. There's also some fascinating evidence for better brain health and memory. And maybe the coolest one of all is this process called autophagy. Think of it like your body's internal deep cleaning service. Your cells start recycling old, junky parts to make room for new, healthy ones. How amazing is that? And you might be wondering, does this actually work? Well, the numbers are pretty impressive. A huge review of 40 different studies found that people lost on average 7 to 11 pounds over just 10 weeks. And here's the really important part. That weight loss was mostly body fat while they held on to their muscle. That's exactly what you want.
And maybe the best part is just how simple it is. As nurse practitioner Cynthia Thurlow says, it's free, it's flexible, and it's simple. It's not some expensive diet or supplement. It's a strategy. So how do people actually do it in the real world?
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds pretty interesting, but what does it actually look like day to day? Well, the beauty of intermittent fasting is that it's super flexible. There's no single right way. Let's go over 3 of the most popular styles.
All right, the one you've probably heard the most about is the 16-8 method. This is pretty simple. You fast for 16 hours a day and eat all your meals in an 8-hour window. So, for example, you might eat between noon and 8 p.m. And that's it. Then there's the 5-2 diet. Here, you eat normally for 5 days of the week, and on 2 days that aren't back-to-back, you cut your calories way down. And finally, there's alternate day fasting, which is pretty much what it sounds like. You switch between a day of normal eating and a day of fasting. Now, this next part is super important. As great as fasting can be for some people, let's be really clear, it is not for everyone. Your safety has to come first, and there are definitely some groups who should be cautious or just avoid it completely. First off, fasting is a definite no for kids and teens under 18. Their bodies are growing and have huge energy needs. Same goes for women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. You're supporting a baby, and you need those consistent nutrients. And this is critical. Anyone with a past or current eating disorder should absolutely avoid fasting.
And then there are some folks who really need to talk to a doctor before they even think about trying this. If you have a condition like diabetes or gout, or if you're on any medication that has to be taken with food, it is vital that you have that conversation first. A doctor can help you do things safely.
So as we start to wrap this up, I think it's really important to put fasting in the right context. It's a really powerful tool for timing your meals, but it's not the only thing that matters. It doesn't exist in a bubble. And this is probably the #1 mistake people make. Intermittent fasting is not a free pass to eat a bunch of junk food during your eating window. It just doesn't work that way. To really get all those benefits we talked about, the quality of your food is just as important. You've got to focus on real whole foods to give your body the good stuff it needs. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. For so long, we've obsessed over calories and carbs and fats. But what if we've been missing something just as fundamental? By paying attention not just to what we eat, but also to the powerful, natural rhythm of when we eat, well, we might just unlock a whole new way of thinking about our health. Definitely something to think about.